Hello, everyone. As you must have been informed about the our training today, my name is John Bond, and I will be giving us a basic look into Microsoft 365 stack for today, just to get more information about what the technology stack is about, how to get started, and what are the few things we should know before we decide to learn deeper into this and choose this path as a career path. Okay. And so today I will be presenting a couple of slides and we will be doing a brief practical session as well, just to, show you the steps that you can use to practice as well as create certain accounts and get hands-on as to all the services that, it's provided within the technology stack. All right. Now, as I've mentioned, we are looking at Microsoft 365. And for those of you who are not aware of this technology, it is fine. That's why we are here. And, we're just going to go into the introduction, right? Now, introduction of Microsoft 365. What is Microsoft 365? Microsoft 365 is an integrated solution which allows the bringing together of the best in-class productivity of the Office 365 technologies or solutions, with advanced security and device management to help safeguard your business. And that's a lot of English, but I'll break it down. What that means is Microsoft 365 contains a lot of or a few solutions altogether that allows you to manage your business infrastructure on the cloud. You don't need to have servers set up or a lot of administrators or whatnot. You can always set it up fully on the cloud. And we're going to take a look at the tools and the solutions that are embedded into this technology stack. Okay. Now, before we go deeper, I want to explain what cloud computing is, because you must have heard me mention that Microsoft 365 is all on the cloud. And what is cloud? What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is a network of remote servers that are hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than having a local server or a personal computer do the work. For some of us who've worked in companies or familiar with IT services, you would note that back at the office, we always have a server room. You hear your IT people talking about server rooms where they have a bunch of servers lined up or stacked up, which processes the data and manages everything in the organization. That is a local server setup. Okay, that's what we call totally managed by you. It's controlled by the IT in the company. Everything is managed in-house, as opposed to cloud computing, where all the servers are in a different location, and all you need to do is just log into your account online, and you'll be able to access every data and manage every data that you have on those servers online. This helps create a serverless infrastructure for your company if that's the route that you want to go to, or the route that your company chooses, which is something that a lot of companies are going through now because it is easier to manage, and it's also creates a redundant setup for your organization. But we'll look at that in a different topic. Now, what are the benefits of cloud computing? Why should you go? Why should you choose to go cloud based instead of sticking to local infrastructure or local servers and all of that? Well, number one is it is cost efficient because it eliminates the capital expense of buying hardware and software. What does that mean? That means if I want to set up a server room for my company, I have to buy all the physical hardware for the servers. I have to buy the cables. I have to pay people to set it up. I have to pay someone to manage it. I have to pay for the relevant software. So all this costs money over time. Whereas I can just set up an account on one of the providers. It could be Microsoft, it could be AWS, and I would have access to those services easily on a pay-as-you-go method instead of having the bulk amount and then getting physical devices in apps, right? Also, we talk about performance because majority of the cloud services run on a global network of secure data centers. What that means is since you know these cloud providers have a big data centers where they have multiple servers that are providing the cloud infrastructure that we want. They have centers in various locations, which creates that we call them availability zones, which creates the flexibility of setting up your infrastructure in different locations or having your recovery set up in a different location. So in case something happens to servers in one location, you can always back it up from servers in a different location. That's the flexibility that cloud computing gives to you. And another benefit is the speed and agility. Now, a lot of computing resources can be provisioned or put together or set up in minutes if you're working on the cloud or using the cloud providers, because everything is already set up. You just need to, pick which ones and select the resources that are, you know, that makes sense to you in terms of what you want to achieve, in terms of what you want to run or what you want to set up or your infrastructure. You can always upscale at any point in time if you need more resources, if you need more CPU, or if you need more RAM or whatever to your servers. You can always just go into your account and add it. It's very easy to manage, as opposed to if you have it locally in your organization, then you have to send someone to go to the market or to computer village to go and buy extra RAM and then come and then fix it. It's just it's easier to manage, it's flexible, and it's faster. Okay, and then we go into deployment models. Now, what are deployment models? This is there are three major deployment models when it comes to cloud computing. And one of it is the public cloud. This is cloud resources that are used by multiple consumers that are available to all, right? Pretty much. And when it comes to private cloud, it's used exclusively by one business or one organization, which means the resources that you have on the cloud are only used by your employees, your organization, and it's not shared to others. And you also have an hybrid cloud, which majority of companies implement because as much as you want your resources in-house, you also want to be able to, you might have services that are open to the public and you allow data and applications to be shared between them. And I'll give you an example. So let's say you have a software that you create in your company in as much as you have in-house tools that your developers and your users use to manage that software, which is available only to the developers inside the organization. The service that you are creating is still going to the end users outside of the company. So you have to deploy an hybrid setup because you have in-house applications that you use internally, and then you're providing a service. So the application that you're providing outside is open to multiple people. All right. That being said, I'm going to move on to uh, talking about Microsoft 365 services and tools and what it entails. Now, Microsoft 365 services, for those of us who've ever worked in a company or a school or whatnot, I'm sure we're familiar with Microsoft Word, familiar with PowerPoint, some of us even with Teams, Excel. Those are applications or solutions that are available within Microsoft 365 on the cloud, right? We are mainly used to having these applications locally on a computer, but these are also available on the cloud, and it's all embedded into the Microsoft 365 stack. Now, one of which I just want you to note here is we have the Microsoft Word, we have Microsoft Teams, the Skype for Business, PowerPoint, Outlook, which is for emails, OneNote for taking notes. You have OneDrive. OneDrive is similar to your Google Drive, which is associated with each account where you can save files and share and save data and also share. And you have Excel and SharePoint. We'll get into those in a bit. Okay. Also, like I mentioned, we have SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. These are majorly collaboration tools. And what does collaboration tools mean? It means these are tools that allow you to collaborate, to engage with your team members, to discuss, to chat, to share files, to bounce off ideas, video conferencing, and all of that. So Teams basically is a solution or a hub for teamwork with chats, video conferencing, and also to share files and discuss. While SharePoint is pretty much a solution that allows you to create sites. It could be internal, it could be external, as well as give you a storage space pretty much to manage content and also to save content as well and improve your team productivity. Now, one thing you need to know is all the solutions and tools that are embedded into Microsoft 365 are all connected. They are all connected together, and it's very easy to set all of them up with particular licensing, which we're going to get through later on. Now, Microsoft 365 also has business solutions, which we will not be talking about today because um, they are an entirely different stack, which is a different field entirely. But you can look into if you feel the need to, or if you want to upskill yourself or your skills. And one of those business solutions is Dynamics 365, which is majorly a modular cloud application that combines CRM and ERP capabilities to support business processes, as well as Power Platform. Power Platform is actually a solution that is embedded in Microsoft 365, and it's one that allows you to innovate and create and automate certain things to make your life easier or your processes easier. And these are things that you can look into once you understand the basic of the technology and play around with it as you go. Now, we also want to discuss the security and compliance in Microsoft 365. It's very important to understand that everything is on the cloud. So how do you safeguard your your infrastructure, right? So the cloud platforms, both by Microsoft or by Amazon, have made sure that whatever um, setup you have on their platform, whatever infrastructure you set up, it's well safeguarded. The security is uptight, and they give you the flexibility to manage your security as you wish by providing a lot of security tools on the platform that you can utilize. In this case, we have a Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, which I'm going to show to you as well once we go into the practical, which is a specialized dashboard to manage compliance across all the Microsoft 365 tools and services, as well as the privacy and data protection. If you're if your organization is um, if they care about safeguarding their data or how much data is available to the public, you are able to check Microsoft's commitment to user data privacy and the frameworks like GDPR and CCPA, and also features like data loss prevention and all of that. More on security and compliance, some of the features that we also have, especially with regards to emails and accounts. We have the advanced threat protection. This protects your account mails against sophisticated threats like phishing or zero-day malware. And you also have conditional access policies, which is quite flexible, and it depends on your organization and what they want I'm sure some of us have worked in companies where you're restricted from doing certain things. You cannot maybe send emails to particular companies or addresses, or you can receive emails from outside the company. So these are accesses or conditional policies that were put in place by the company. You can also do that on the stack, and also check your organization security based on regular activities of the users and your security settings. So what this tells us is everything that you can do locally in your company, you can also do it on the cloud. Everything is set up. Even you can do it more easier on the cloud. That's what this is pretty much telling us. And then we go into pricing. Like I said, majority of the tools or the services that is provided is paid for. And licensing is very important because licensing allows you to have access to certain features that you paid for. So, some of the licensing models that we have in Microsoft is a wide range of licenses which cover every Microsoft 365 functionalities, including advanced security, analytics, and voice capabilities. Voice capabilities can be telephones, because Teams as a feature to make calls, normal calls, and also that's more advanced, and we'll talk about it later on. And they have a subscription based dependent on the number of users and the chosen plan. Now, plans can range from the E1 license to the E5, which is for enterprise level licensing, or A1 license to A5. We have A1, we have A3, and we have A5. Those are for educational organizations, right? If you have a school and you want to set up the infrastructure online, you would use the A1 to the A5. But they are specifically, they have certain features for educational organizations, right? And then we have the normal, usual business licenses like the basic, the standard, and the business premium license, which allows you to have certain features and accesses in those licenses, right? Also, because this is a new, well, the cloud computing has been out for a while, but nonetheless, one major part that I like about a lot of these platforms is the availability for you to reach out to Microsoft support at any point in time. When you have a tenant set up, you have an infrastructure setup, and then you run into issues, you can always reach out to Microsoft support 247 via phone and by the web. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. But note, you can only do this if you are on a paid license, okay? Because we're going to do a practical session later on. We're going to use a trial license, so don't contact Microsoft support. They won't respond to you because, well, they might, but you don't have a paid license. But I will show you how you can do that. And you also have community forums that you can easily access online by searching the web, and you can see, there are professionals and experts that put resolutions and ideas on there that you can look at, use to resolve certain issues that you come across, as well as training guides and tutorials. One thing I can tell you is there's nothing that you would want to do on the Microsoft 365 technology or on the cloud that is not documented. So you just need to do research, and you would be able to get all the detailed documentation on how to go about each step, or how to go about implementing certain things that you need to implement for your organization. Okay? So how do we get started? You need to understand your current infrastructure and what you currently need. Okay. And then once you know that, you can then choose the right plan. If you need to migrate data, you will do that. If you need to onboard users, you will do that. And also, you need to teach your users or your team the resources that M365 provides you, and so that they can leverage the tools and services efficiently. So now we're going to go into a practical view and see for ourselves, hands-on, how we can set this up, because this is all a word of mouth unless we can see what it does and how we can, play around with it and get more information on how to manage these things and how to get started. Okay.